So we would like to welcome Mr. Burton.
So the micro is.
Hello? Ooh, please. You turn it down. It's okay. Okay. Am I supposed to say something? Yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me here. It's a thank you very much. Thank you. What? Okay. Yeah.
Ja, vielleicht hat der ein oder andere eine direkte Frage an Tim Burton. Wir wollen ihm jetzt sozusagen kein Statement abringen, sondern einfach auch Ihren Interessen folgend vielleicht die eine oder andere Frage beantworten. They're too shy, Tim.
Yeah.
Nutzen Sie die Gelegenheit, nur wenige haben ein Interview bekommen.
I don't talk very much.
Jetzt ist die Gelegenheit zu fragen. Sie sind Fragen, hier Mikrofon.
Mr. Burton, we know you're an actor, an artist, but which normal job could you imagine?
Which what?
Which normal job? Work?
Normal job.
Yeah.
No. I'm lucky to be able to have drawn or do movies. Otherwise, I would probably be in jail. I could never have a normal job. So, I've been very lucky to be able to, because I started my career at Disney and drawing, and I had a lot of freedom in a sense to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. So I was very lucky in that sort of from drawing that into the films, and so I was when people ask how do you get into drawing or film or whatever, and it was just such a strange journey that I didn't. It was unpredictable, and I always think that's the best thing. Sometimes when life is a surprise, and what you get to be able to do is a surprise. So I've always counted myself very, very lucky that way.
Hello, Mr. Burton. It's an honor to meet you.
Where are you?
In the front.
Yeah.
After exhibitions in Prague and New York and Tokyo, why did you make your decision to come to Brühl?
Well, because they asked me, I never go anywhere where I'm not asked, I'm like one of those kind of people, but what's been beautiful for me is to go to different places and to, because as filmmaker, whatever, you get to travel to different places, and I think you find more about people and about yourself and about cultures and things when you have the opportunity and to do something like this. So I always feel like it's something that's I learn a lot, I feel a lot, and I just, for me, it's one of the greatest experiences, to come to a place and experience the people and the culture and everything. I was married to a German once, so I'm now allowed back into the country.
Took you some time. Good morning, Tim.
Hey.
What's mankind for you? What's monstrosity for you?
What, say again?
What's mankind and monstrosity?
Well, it's all combined, isn't it? It's all. I mean, I think I think it doesn't matter what culture you're in or anything. It's like people, when you feel a certain way, you feel all those feelings, and it's both beautiful and sad and tragic and beautiful. I mean, so I grew up watching monster movies, and I always felt the monsters were the most emotional creatures, you know. So that's why I identified with those kind of things, because they're very much humanity, and you know, even though they were perceived as creatures or horror things or whatever, they were always the most emotional characters in the films. So I think the combination is very pure and very telling, and I think that's why I responded to those kind of movies.
Hello, Mr. Burton. Thank you for your attention. This museum is named after the German artist Max-Ernst, whose favorite animals were birds. So he often used them as a symbol for a special kind of emotion transmitted in his artwork. Paul A. Woods once wrote about you, I have to quote, "Once upon a time there was a lonely little boy who was ignored by the people around him, and instead of normal friends he grew up to love monsters and dogs." So your affection for monsters is discussed very often, I think. But what's the thing with the dog in your artwork?
Well, dogs, I think, I always found them quite emotional, very pure. I mean, I had a dog, several dogs, and you know, you'd walk out of your apartment flat, and they were so, and then you know, I'd walk out the door. And I'd come back because I forgot my keys or phone or whatever, and you come back, and it's like they never, you know, it's just pure emotion, you know, it's just pure, simple emotion, which is beautiful, you know, and I think, you know, cats are a different story, but dogs I always felt were very like very pure creatures, and I think that's why I responded to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. I'm here. What kind of advice would you give any young artist entering the entertainment industry?
Well, it's funny because you know, when I first started at Disney, it was a very bad time. They weren't making really good movies, and but now I think it's a real renaissance. There's so many things going on. You know, whether it's, you know, stop motion, drawn animation, computer animation, whatever. You know, it's a real renaissance, and I think it's great because there's a lot of great, you know, stories being told and things in all formats of animation, and I think that it's. I always just say, like, for me, what you know, because I never had a plan. It's just more like you go, okay, I like to draw, or I like to do this or do that, and just be pure to yourself. I think that's the key. Don't try to think outside, like, oh, if I do this, it's going to be successful, or I'm going to do that. It's just you have to come from your soul and your heart, and to just do what you feel, and then hope for the best. Because I think, but again, the opportunities are much greater. I mean, you know, when I was at Disney, there were you know, John Lasseter, Brad Bird, a lot of people that are really talented people, and all of them just wanted to just do, you know, just make things, you know, just making things. And I think that for anybody, just be pure to yourself, and to just, you know, be passionate about what you want to do, and just do it, and then hope for the best.
Hello, Mr. Burton. Hi. I always wanted to say thank you for all the movies and all the characters. And my question is, if you only were allowed to choose one piece of the exhibition, which one would be the most important for you? Is it possible to answer that question?
Yeah, the exit.
Yeah.
No. No, but it's funny because it's like, you know, when MoMA and Jetty, you know, the first one was at MoMA in New York, which was a big, you know, and, you know, I never, you know, coming from Burbank, I never went to museums or anything. So to have that happen was just such a surreal experience. And like I said, all of this is so, because all of the stuff that is in these shows it was strangely private. You know, it was, you know, there were projects, but most of it was just for myself. So to then have it sort of displayed was a very strange experience for me. And so I think the overall thing has been really beautiful, like going to different countries and cities and things and experiencing it. And the thing that I think that because I'm not a great artist, but the thing that hit me from the beginning at like in New York was it inspired kids to go like, well, he's not, it inspired them to draw or to do things, and that to me was the most special thing about the whole experience for me. It was to see that people, especially kids, like go, oh, well, if he can do that, I can do that, and there was something very beautiful about that.
Okay, hi. Right here in the middle. Hi. During your time at Disney, it was the start of you. It was a very bad time for Disney, I guess. Have you ever guessed that this would end with an exhibition of all your work here?
No, never. No, I mean, I remember sitting in a room, I felt like Rapunzel, in a tower, and I in some ways it was great because I was a bad animator. I drew all my foxes that I drew for Fox and Hounds looked like it had been hit by a car. So they let me then go off and do other things. And so I got the opportunity to sort of draw whatever I wanted to draw. And I knew at the time, it was unheard, because everybody had their jobs and positions. And I was just very lucky to just sit in a room and just do whatever I wanted to do. And, I'll never forget it. It was a very special time.
Thank you.
Hello, Tim. Here. Your good friend Christopher Lee recently died. What do you remember about him? And is it true that Dracula AD 72 is a favorite?
Yes,
and
it is.
what will happen to your documentary about Vincent Price?
Well, okay. Well, of course, I grew up with people like Vincent Price and Christopher Lee and all those people. And I've been in Ray Harryhausen, and I feel very, very fortunate that I got to meet all of them and become friends with them. Vincent Price first, and then Christopher Lee, and it's just it's like if you love film and you talk to these people, they are just the most. It's like a dream. It's like why you want to make movies. It's like the stories, just hearing his voice. In fact, I said to him once, I said, because I hate the phone, I go, will you do my phone message for me? It's like, Tim is not here right now. Please leave a message. But because his voice, these people are there, and there will never be anyone like them. It's like an old. It's an old thing, It's like there will never be a Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Ray Harryhausen, never again, And so I feel very special that I got the opportunity, because they really, and these are all old people, and they they inspire you. They inspire. They're not jaded. They're not. They don't feel bad about everything. They're up until the end of their lives, they're interested in everything. They're passionate about everything. I remember I worked with a producer when I did Sleepy Hollow, and he goes like, I go, there's a small part. I go, what about Christopher Lee? Well, he's dead. I go, well, I never heard he died. He's dead. He's dead. And it's like, and then many years later, I go, okay, he did this little small part in Sleepy Hollow, and this dead person then went on to do like 8 Star Wars movies and 9 Lord of the Rings movies. So I mean, it's just an interesting thing about art and people and so I always felt very, very grateful, and it keeps me going today to meet these people that have inspired me, and it's part of your DNA. It's like watching them in their movies, that they sort of it's like a therapy session. They help you through your life.
Yeah, the Vincent Price documentary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a funny world now, because when I first started out, it's like you go, show clips and things, but the world has gotten very, lawyer oriented. So getting clips for things, you have to pay this and that. So it gets bogged down in bureaucracy, and it's like where you go like, well, we just want to show clips of Vincent Price, but no, this rights to this and that, and it shows kind of, unfortunately, how the world is changing, where, you used to be able to like put something in a movie, like, oh, great, now you have to pay for everything and do this and that, so it's become kind of a nightmare, and that's an unfortunate part of the world these days.
Mr. Burton, for many people here, for many people you're the master of stop motion, but what do you prefer, the real actors or the puppets?
My problem is that I cross over, so sometimes, you move puppets, and then once I got used to that, I started moving actors. But I love both. I mean, honestly, there's an art form and an energy. When you see, if you've ever been on a stop motion set and you see the animators moving it one frame at a time, it's like energy. There's something that's different. I mean, computer drawn, everything is they're all beautiful art forms, but to see somebody move something, it's like Pinocchio, or it's like Frankenstein. It's like something coming to life, and there's something really, really, really energizing and beautiful about that, And but I love most actors anyway. A few, no, but it's all different energies, but there is something really, really, and it's hard to describe. To see a person move something one frame at a time, and then it, come to life. It's beautiful.
Good morning, Mr. Burton. My question is: do you have any role models in reference to the art or to the film, like any directors or artists?
Well, I mean, I think everybody. Like I said, a lot of inspiration comes from your childhood. I mean, like I said, like people like Ray Harryhausen, Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, all those horror, people that sort of drew you into kind of why you want to do what you want to do, and. But there's also contemporary people. But, I admire anybody who's able to just kind of do their thing, because it's hard. It's getting harder because studios are becoming more corporate, and over the years. I mean, I remember it hit me. I was. At Disney, they had this building, the animation building. It was built for animators. They had the light, coming through the windows and the light. They had desks, things, everything built for artists. And I remember when it changed over. Like I was like one of the last people there. Got taken over by accountants, lawyers, business people, and they gutted the whole thing. They took out everything that was the building was built for, and it was a very strange phenomenon. But it showed me where things were going, and it's a bit of a shame because it's like the animators and the artists, people that's what made Disney and things what it was. Then they were all shipped off to a warehouse in Glendale. So it's a never changing business or art form or whatever.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Burton. My name is Christina Steingraber, and I wanted to ask you about the change in the world of Tim Burton, because now there are completely new media coming into your work, like exhibitions and publications. And so how did it change your view? Are you still standing outside for the exhibition project? And so I can imagine that the scene is completely different to the film scene, and that now you're becoming part of the art scene. Art historians are writing about you?
Not according to New York critics, you know. But no, I mean, I feel like, honestly, and if it weren't for Jenny and Ron, the first people, I wouldn't have done it, because none of this was ever meant, you know, it was just all private stuff, you know. And Jenny and Ron came to, you know, to my studio, my house, and looked at stuff. But I mean, it was nothing I ever really planned, which you know, in life, as you know, the best things are surprises, aren't they? You know, like things that you don't expect. And this was unexpected, and for me, it's something that was a beautiful surprise. You know, as you get older, you know, it's something that you know. You're always surprised as a child, you know, with things. But as you get older, surprises are more rare. But this has been a great one, and honestly, it's for me, coming to any city, any place, it just, you know, because I love to travel and I love to just experience things in different ways. It's like when you're a kid and you see things for the first time. That's what this is like for me, you know. So it's like a first time experience.
There's a documentary coming up called The Death of Superman Lives. Now, Superman Lives is also appearing in the exhibition. And I was wondering, how do you feel about a movie or something that you put a lot of effort in, but that actually didn't come to life in the end?
Yeah. Well, I've had a few of those experiences, and they are, I'll never forget it. It's you know, not to belittle it, but it's like a loss of a life or a child. There's something that's really, really traumatic, and I will always be traumatized by those few things, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the documentary, but it's like, you know, probably when I die, hopefully that won't be my last image, but it's something that is truly, because you put your heart and soul into something, and when it doesn't happen, it just, it's something I'll never forget. I've had like a few of those, and again, because of the way the movie industry is going, it's something that's happening a bit more and more, I think.
Morning, Mr. Burton. What's the best compliment you can get?
I don't know. I get very uncomfortable with compliments. I don't know why I don't know. I'm a good dancer. I don't know. I don't take compliments well, really. I don't know. I have to ask my therapist that question. I don't know.
Okay, eine letzte Frage.
Hi, Mr. Burton.
Hello.
I wanted to ask if, since you're known for a certain style, you're known for being horrific and surreal and everything, does that put any pressure on you if you look at a picture that you drew and you go like, oh no, that's too normal, that's not scary enough?
No, I mean, it's funny because, like I said, I never... You know, this was not my, like I said, I didn't come to Jenny and go like, I want to have a big exhibit in MoMA, you know, whatever. So it's almost, for me, it's very, it's difficult for me, you know, even when I walk around and look at things, I'm both intrigued and then I'm a bit like sort of terrified in a way, because it's like, it's like opening up your closet, and like people seeing your dirty laundry, it's just kind of something strange about it. No, but I mean, that's why I let them do, because it's just who I am, and I don't really analyze it too much. I mean, I've made movies, and some movies are successful, some aren't. I mean, but I can never tell, it's just, you do what you at the time and the place. That's like when people, like, they do a Star Wars, and they'll like redo this special effects years later to make it more updated. I mean, I would never do that, because I think, what you do at the time you do it is a part of who you are, and that's just, for good or for bad, it's just who you are. So I prefer that sort of way of dealing with things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, vielen Dank. Thank you very much, Mr. Burton, for coming and for your answers.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we can go. Thank you, guys.